Alrighty, hello. I'm live, everything's working. Okay. This is gonna be a pretty brief video, but I was feeling called to go live today. I was doing a lot of self-reflection this morning, on my own personal life, my business, and some of the things I've been talking about with people in the DMs as well as clients. So I was thinking a lot about overwhelm because we all go through seasons of overwhelm and we all know the feeling, right? It's a pretty common struggle. But I wanted to talk a little bit about how to feel less overwhelmed because there are a couple of things that stand out for me from what I've witnessed as well as experienced. So, the first thing I want to say when it comes to overwhelm is look at the choices you're making in your life. And to be clear, this is not to shame anyone, okay? We all have gone through some sort of difficult circumstance or situation, and I'm not going to take away from that at all. It's perfectly natural, of course, to feel stressed and overwhelmed at certain times in our life. However, I believe that overwhelm comes from our choices because we can have super tough circumstances, but we still have a choice in how we take care of ourselves, how we show up in those circumstances. So from what I've witnessed and experienced, overwhelm comes from a couple of different things. Okay, sorry, I'm getting notifications. Stop this. Okay, so it comes from a couple different things. So first of all, of course, this is probably where most of us jump to, is what's actually on our plate. Because a lot of times we feel like we're looking at everything we have to do, and of course, you know, when you're looking at this pile of things or this list of things, it's natural to feel overwhelmed. That happens to all of us. So look at what's actually on your plate and look at what are you saying yes to and where do you need to say no more, because a lot of times what I've seen is someone's feeling overwhelmed, they're not willing to ask for help, or they're not honest about what's actually on their plate, or they're not honest about what they need. So just look at where do you need to say no in your life right now. And the second one is time management. It makes me think of there was one session I remember asking one of my clients that question, where do you need to say no more? And I remember her answer. She was really stressed. And she said, she paused and was like, nowhere. Literally, Sam, I think I can't say no anywhere right now. I have to do everything. And sometimes that's the case. You know, I believed her, I trusted her, she knew what she had to do, and that was fine. And I basically, what came up for us in that session was we needed to figure out a way for her to manage her time better and to take care of herself better, because she was really at the end of her rope, and she did need some help. And it wasn't about necessarily saying no in that circumstance, but it was about getting more organized and managing her mindset, and self-care. So if that's the case, maybe you need to manage your time better, check your priorities, because a lot of times, you know, sometimes we feel like everything is a priority, but is it really? Sometimes we need to be really honest and sit down, and you can do a brain dump. That really helps me. If you've heard of that, it's just get everything out on paper, write a whole list of everything you feel like you have to do, and then go through and ask yourself, okay, which of these is actually a priority and needs to get done right now? Because probably not every single thing on that list is. So, and then the third thing is self-care. Like I mentioned, it's really easy, or at least much easier, to feel overwhelmed if you are not taking good care of yourself. And this also has to do with how you are talking to yourself and how you are treating yourself. Because sometimes we can get in this cycle, and this is something I've seen as well, is we're not taking good care of ourselves, and instead of making different choices, we just make the different choices in our mind, but we don't put it into action, and then we end up just beating ourselves up because we're not taking different actions. And that's not helpful. So don't beat yourself up. You can give yourself grace, but also decide to make different decisions, and look at how you're actually taking care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, because it's not just about physically. I mean, there are lots of studies that show your physical health has a huge impact on your mental and emotional health as well. But it also is about your mindset. I think mindset is a big part of this. And I think mindset, from what I've seen, I mean, I talked about it so much, it's incredibly powerful. Your thoughts are powerful, your beliefs are powerful. They really impact your whole life and what you do or what you don't do. And I think that mindset is a part of self-care, and so is time management. I think that time management, working on your mindset, taking care of yourself, they're all different forms of self-love and self-respect, which goes a long way too. So those are my tips that I want to, and what I wanted to share with you today, because a lot of times we get stuck in the feeling of overwhelm, but there are solutions, and it can start with just asking yourself simple questions. What do I need to say no to right now in my life? How am I actually managing my time right now? Am I prioritizing the way I should be or could be in my life? How is my mindset around everything I have to do? Am I spinning out right now? Am I overthinking things and getting stuck in that negative spiral? And like I said, if you are in that negative thought spiral, then I would recommend you can do a brain dump. Just get everything out on paper. It really does help. Journaling really helps to get everything out, and from there you can start getting a little more organized as well. And then again, going back to, how am I taking care of myself? That's another question I would ask yourself. Okay, so start with asking yourself those questions, looking at where you're prioritizing in your life, where your mindset is, and I hope that helps. I hope you're having a lovely weekend and get some rest this weekend. And I also wanted to mention, because I know some of you had registered for the workshop I just had a few days ago. If you haven't watched the replay, it is coming down tonight at midnight. So make sure you watch that. And if you did not end up registering, but you're interested, then you can comment on this video or send me a message as well, and I can get that out to you if you want to watch it before tonight. So, but aside from that, have a lovely weekend, and I'll talk to you another day.